Hey guys, we are revisiting this Spinning Star quilt block for the end of February 2023. So we kind of snuck this in. So this is the one I did with you on camera, and you can see that I kind of made this inner square a little bit wonky when I was trying to attach that very last edge. And when you watch the video right before this one for the Spinning Star to complete this one, you'll see what I'm talking about, how to complete this edge. And I made this one a little bit wonky. I just kind of sewed it weird. But this is the Spinning Star. This is also another 8-point star. If you look at it, there's 8 star legs. So I made another one off camera, and this one was much better. And then I put sashing on the outside. I made it a little bit smaller. So the measurements, let me get the measurements for you. You can't really see those. So what I did was I made in the bold fabric, I'm calling this bold fabric. In the bold fabric, I made 2 6-inch squares. 2 6-inch squares of the bold fabric that you cut once each on the diagonal. So you can see that. If you put these halves together, you get a square. You put these halves together, you get a square, right? Or maybe you can visualize this going on top of this and this sitting on top of that, right? So it's a square. 2 of those cut in one diagonal, and that one I did in 6 inches. The print, I guess I'm calling this a print. It's not really a print. It is, you can use whatever you want, but this is just a plain color. So this is just a color, and I did 1 6-inch cut on the diagonal twice. So you cut your square on both diagonals. You make the X in that 6-inch square. And then for the second half of that triangle, so you can see it makes a half square or a quarter square triangle right here. This is the half square triangle. This is a quarter square triangle. That makes, the unit makes a half square triangle. And then when you put the quarter square triangle, when you put the quarter square triangle units together, you get a half square, you get a half a square, which is a triangle. And then you put the triangles together, and then you get 1 square block. Do you see that? Simple to see now that you know what the parts to look for. So you cut 1 6-inch square of this, cut it twice to get 4 quarters. You do the same with the white, cut a 6-inch square, 1 6-inch square, in diagonal, corner to corner, you get 4 little triangles. Sew these together on all these sides, and then you create, this way, this way, this way, this way. And then you sew those together first, and then you sew that unit onto this together to get your block, your square, your little unit, okay? So you have 4 of those. And then I used for my center, I just used a 2.5-inch square, 2.5-inch square, 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch. And then for these rectangles here on the edge, I used 2.5 inch by 5 inches. So 2.5 inches by 5 inches. 2.5 inches by 5 inches. 2.5 inches by 5 inches, okay? 2.5 inches by 5 inches. And those are my measurements. And then for this one, I actually put on a sashing because the whole block, when put together, is quite a bit less than 12.5 inches unfinished, which is what I originally want. I want 12.5 unfinished. I'm sorry about the shaky camera. 12.5 inch unfinished block. So that I did a little bit more carefully, and I did it off camera. And of course, the second time around, it's a little bit easier, right? So I was able to put that together much more square than this one. This one I was just kind of, figuring stuff out. But I do not have sashing, but it does go, the points, the star legs or star points go all the way to the edge of the fabric. Like this is way. So when I put this, when I sash this, when I put these blocks together, I'm going to lose those points, right? And you can see that I kind of did lose these points here too. I kind of lost that one a little bit. I definitely lost that one. Did not really lose these. Lucky on that. Lost that one. Did not lose this one. Lost this point. And just barely lost that one. You can't even tell. But so those would be salvaged. Those points are still, they won't be affected in the quilt. Because I added the sashing, and now, the sashing comes out to the edge right here. So these line up. Okay. All right, so this is called the spinning star, and we're going to quilt this right now. So those were the measurements, and then watch the other video to see how you put it together. And now we're going to finish it right now and quilt it, and this will be part 4, and we'll be done. Okay, so in order to get the camera to not... Oh, and I used the fusible backing for this. I'm not really sure why, other than I wanted to make sure these stuck down the way that they should. But I used fusible backing on both pieces, and that will make this sandwich a little thicker. Because in all my other pieces, I just have the 100% natural cotton batting and only one layer. This has 2 layers, so maybe a little thicker block. Maybe I won't put it in. But anyway, let's just start to, so let's just start to quilt this. So you can use a, how do I want to do this? I think I want to do it this way. So you can use whatever decorative stitch that you'd like. I'm just going to use a straight stitch, and you might want to change the length of it just slightly to accommodate the batting. So I'm going to make it a 3 millimeter. And then lock, I'm going to use a locking stitch right there. Okay, now I keep the needle down so I can spin this around. Oh wait, where do I want to... Oh, I'm taking it all the way to the end. I apologize. I'm taking this all the way to the end right here. All right. What am I doing with this? I'm not really even sure. Okay, well, you can tell that I just went right over the backing of here. I just did a straight line, and that's going straight over those points. So that's not super cool. But that's what I did. So, oh my gosh. I don't really know what the heck I'm doing here. Okay. Now you want to be careful if you're spinning this around that you do not spin and pull that needle too much. You will be unhappy that you did that. Okay. I may just do this square and then call it done for you guys because I'm starting to get frustrated already. What am I doing? Oh, it's on the outside of that. Okay. Alright. Oh my gosh. Okay. You know what? It is midnight 30 and I think I'm just getting frustrated. I don't feel overly tired, but I'm just kind of getting frustrated with my work. So I think we'll just quilt the outside of this and then I'll just make a star design on the inside and call it good. Alright, there we go. So I retraced to where I started. I'm using a locking stitch. And then you pull that back. Okay, so this is what I did. I just stitched around the sashing part. And then you could tell on the back where I stitched. Definitely, it went over those star legs. Okay? So, yeah. So that's that. So, I am going to do this off camera, but I'm just going to trace around the star legs, probably on the inside and the outside of the star legs, and just, you know, create a star that way. That's going to be way different on this side. It's going to be way different. So, yeah, it's this side is going to look really weird because this side is not even with the other side. That's why normally in quilting, quilters only put plain fabric on the back. They don't like quilt the back also because it may not match the front. And then it'll really look weird. That you really care when you're sleeping, but or when you're wrapped up in a blanket, you don't really care about the design most of the time. You probably just care about the warmth and how it makes you feel. That's what quilts are about. So anyway, yeah, so just do some quilting on the inside. You could do a pattern. You could do flowers. You could do just swirlies. You could do straight lines up and down. It doesn't really matter. Whatever pattern you like, and I'll try to block out that light behind me there. So whatever pattern you like and whatever works. So we're going to call this quilted, and we are going to move on. So the spinning star is now done, quilted, and fini. So we're going to move on to March and do another 8-point star in March. This is an 8-point star, but it's called the spinning star. Okay? Spinning star. All right, you guys. Thanks for playing along. Or I should say quilting along. Thanks for quilting along today. And I hope your spinning star turns out a little bit better than mine did. And I hope it turns out exactly how you'd like it. So use whatever fabric and colorway that you want. And you can see how pretty cool that is. And this little piece in here is a little bit more challenging. So it's a bit more technical of a star to complete. And you can tell that sometimes if you don't line everything up, you might lose your star points. So you want to be extra careful in measuring and your seam allowances and that sort of thing. All right, folks, thanks for quilting along. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!